have we even come up with a plan for this? Like, do we like talk now, or do we like hit the intro then talk?
Have you hit record yet?
Yes.
Well then, play the intro.
This'll
Press the
do.
button. Is it playing?
Yeah, you can't talk over the intro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because I can't actually hear
Shut
it.
up!
I'm sorry.
There we go. That was our amazing intro to Cool Story Bro, which is I talked over the top of.
That was really awkward for me. I was just sitting in silence just because I couldn't hear anything anyway. So I was like, "Is it done yet?"
I could relay the output back to Discord, like using some virtual audio cables, but I really can't be bothered. So we just
Cool Story Bro, episode 2. I don't know when the last episode was, but we're probably a year.
You know what? I'm gonna look like to see when the last one was. Cool Story Bro, the Sneaky Bros. I apologize for the mechanical keyboard right now as well. So.
Yeah, we had big dreams, big plans.
Cool Story Bro
usual,
pilot episode was on the 20th of July, 2016. It is now the 8th of July, 2018. So it's almost 2 years ago. It must be this time of year. We must get like the inkling to do
the spark. The idea from streaming back. Episode 2 took 2 years to make. So. This, we can't screw
let
this
me
up.
see. Let me see what our topics were that day. Let me see what
we've had 2 years to prepare for this moment. We cannot screw this up.
Our topics were. It was a 17-minute episode. Our topics were Pokemon Go, because it was all about Pokemon Go in 2016.
I guess what? I just started playing Pokemon Go again.
This is. It all comes full circle. The great circle of YouTubes. We got a channel update, which is coming at the end of the video. and we're going to be talking about Clay Soldier's mod, which is exactly...
How about we just don't record anything and we just play back the video from 2 years ago?
Oh, the audio quality was awful. We used webcams as well, and it was the most awkward thing ever. Should we read some comments from the last episode?
Go on.
Right.
Relay them to me.
Let's read some comments. Thanks to everyone who's been commenting on our podcast. We like to hear
Someone
feedback.
actually commented?
So we got Verlaine. The hype is real.
Oh
yeah. Phantom of the Eclipse says cool.
Okay.
Sawtooth says level 15 Executor CB 930. I presume we asked people what their best Pokemon they caught was.
Yeah. yeah.
Maxim Patrokov says keep up the great work. Yeah, you know what? I appreciate the feedback on the great work we've been putting into this podcast. I love that. Snoopy the Scout says, I tell you what, I want the old Clay Soldiers season 1, like 1 and 2. I was so hyped for season 3, but now I saw its truth. Phase, I hate season 3. I want season 3 to be like season 1 and 2. Oh my god, I'm getting roasted.
Well, have I got news for you at the end of this episode, so make sure you stick around.
Mate, there was a full-on argument kicked off in the comments. We'll skip that comment section. Who else commented? The Lockout Play says, you know your OG when you remember Up the Veil. Yeah. Baby, come back. Oh,
that's brilliant. That's fantastic. I love that. Thank you for commenting that.
Maybe you
can say the same thing in this episode.
Phantom of the Eclipse also says play Overwatch.
I tell you what, everyone, why don't you pause the video now, go down in the comment section, and then in 2 years from today, we will reread it for episode 3. How about that?
Creeps put... I've got to try and read this in the language he wrote it. Creeps wrote, you nerds, why you keep us in the dirt for months?
You know what? He's not wrong. So, you know what? I've got to give it to the guy.
Hyper Iron Gaming says, I'm the one that's been messaging you on Facebook. I can't wait for season 4. I'm excited for the Clay Soldiers mod. This is why I subscribed. I mean, 2 years, that's like... I mean, okay, people didn't subscribe for the podcast, but basically, we're... this is it. We're going to do a podcast. We're not going to promise anything. We're going to get some guests on at some point at some time.
Yeah. It's probably best not to promise anything. Just say nothing.
If you look forward to the next episode in 2020, when we'll be talking, when Minecraft 2 will be released, and oh dear, imagine. Do you reckon Microsoft will do that? Do you reckon Microsoft are going to like cash in on like a Minecraft sequel?
No, I reckon they're going to do a different genre. So I reckon they will have maybe the same mechanics as Minecraft per se, but maybe a totally different genre. Like how, you know how I've forgotten his name now, but the old guy who created Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
Notch. There he is, Notch, big guy. He had the idea of doing like a kind of sci-fi game. I remember.
Well, so, with the Minecraft mechanics.
Kind of. See, like, I'm thinking maybe they'll put a spin on it, or they'll keep on innovating Minecraft in different ways, keep on putting it on different platforms, which seem to be working for them. They've recently announced that they're doing cross-play with Xbox, PC, and the Switch. So there you go. They're gonna keep on doing the Skyrim thing, keep on releasing it.
Yeah, cross-play with the PC, Xbox, and the Switch, but not Sony. This is a pretty salty point of contention with cross-play for me, because like. You've got PlayStation now. I've got Xbox. Obviously, we're PC gamers through and through. But as you get these people that are like PC master race. But you know what? There's some days that you just want to chill out on a sofa and play some console. And yes, you can get the Steam Link thing, which I've got. It's quite possibly the worst interface in the world. The controller is horrible as well. I actually use my Xbox controller now with the Steam Link. So, but I only use Steam Link to play F1 games because I can get the full graphic potential out of them.
I mean, I'm the whole Steam Link thing is a bit weird to me because it's been on sale twice now for about £2. So I'm not sure if they're just kind of trying to shift all of their gear as fast as possible here.
I think they're planning on not supporting it, or just keeping it so people who've got it can use it, and then. I'm not sure, because the Steam VR thing is their new thing that they're pushing. They've got them controllers that they've just released the second prototype for.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, they're like nunchuck style thing. They look like the old Wii controllers with handles on the bottom. And the idea is you can you're going to be able to simulate finger grabs, so you can physically control each finger in VR. Because picking something up in VR is quite possibly the most frustrating thing in the world at the moment. Because you either not quite grab it, and it's just not quite there in VR at the moment, throwing stuff and picking it up. And I think that's what Valve's trying to do with these nunchuck style things.
Yeah, I mean, for the PSVR, which is what I've invested in, they use these motion controllers from back in the day. A completely different kind of hardware, and they've kind of innovated and integrated for the virtual reality experience. And these controllers don't even have analog sticks, so even just basic movement on the PSVR is a bit behind compared to the other headsets out there. So I'm kind of I was kind of wishing and hoping that Sony would unveil some new analog sticks for E3, but we got no word. So, hopefully we can maybe push something. To
be honest, VR at E3 was kind of under the wraps as well. I think a lot of people expected Microsoft to announce some form of Xbox VR, but it didn't happen.
They've been very, very quiet. I know they've said a few things, but it seems, to be the Vive seems to be, and the Oculus seem to be the forefront runners right now of innovating the PC scene for VR. Recently, Oculus, I believe, unveiled a kind of like smaller version, like a really cheap version of VR, which seems to be doing quite well right now. So maybe with these cheaper versions,
definitely. I think that'd be good because VR's expensive to buy into sometimes. I think.
Yeah, I mean that's one good thing Sony has done is they've significantly decrease the price to actually get involved in VR. So that's when I got on board, and I've had a lot of fun with it. But speaking of hardware, there's been rumors of Google actually making a piece of hardware to actually, possibly, take on, Xbox and PlayStation. Maybe they're thinking of, to innovate the gaming industry with a new piece of kit.
Well, this makes sense to me, and it doesn't, because we're halfway through a console generation at the moment. We've got Xbox has kind of revitalized the Xbox One. The One X is doing very well. PlayStation's still doing very well just because of its exclusives. And then we're looking at either the next E3 or the E3 after. They're going to start talking about their consoles, let's face it. And a lot of inside professionals are saying this is probably going to be the last of the console generation, because everyone's predicting that game streaming will take off. So it's not going to be about hardware anymore. It's literally going to be about, you're going to have a platform that will stream games live from the internet, and that's how it's going to go, which has been tried before. I remember years ago there was a company, I can't even remember the game, and they were trying game streaming, and it wasn't bad, but there was that little bit of latency.
Correct. I remember that. I remember that ad campaign. I was actually there. It was advertised at Eurogamer one year. Is when there was big hype around it, and the queues were massive. Everyone was hyped for it. Everyone got their goodie bags. People were talking, raving about it online, and people were going nuts. And then when it finally came into the hands of the consumers, it didn't deliver.
I think they were 10
very well.
years. I think they were 10 years ahead of the technology. I think the company was good. The idea was good, but I don't think this next console will be the last one of the generation. I don't think people will rely on game streaming for a long time. I mean, look at every new game's release. How often do servers go down, or they're not quite right? I don't think people would like it if they just physically couldn't access their game if there wasn't a connection.
Yeah, I mean, there was a big backlash for when Xbox unveiled Xbox One, of how they said it's exclusively an online machine, and they got a big criticism from that as well. So people don't want to be online all the time. People do still enjoy the offline feel and experience. I mean, because there's people still out there that live in not in places where there isn't much data. So, having that offline option is kind of a must for them.
But we say that because we're of the generation that grew up on these consoles that were single player that then had online attached to them. But look at all the games that are number one in the charts now. Fortnite, PUBG, Call of Duty still at the top, all them sort of stuff, Battlefield. These are all games that are getting rid of their single player modes and bringing in multiplayer only that obviously have to always be online. So we are shifting to that, and again, I think Microsoft were ahead of the time in creating a always online console, and they probably worded it wrong. Had they worded it a little bit different, people wouldn't have been so worried about it. But my console's online all the time, unless my internet's down. I'm fortunate to live in a place where my internet's very good, 99% of the time. Guaranteed to go down during this podcast, now I've said that. But, but the console generation's going to be interesting, and I think, we've got the next generation of consoles coming up in the next couple of years. If Google want to get in on the action, I'm all up for that, because, if Google are doing it, they'll do it well, it'll be fair priced, and it'll be good. If you look at the rest of their products, we can hammer YouTube, we can hammer all sorts of stuff that Google done in the past, but you know what? They've got very good products that work.
That is true. I mean, but on the other hand, you have big giants like Valve trying out that hardware, and like you said before, it doesn't always work out. So maybe even if you are a Goliath of a company and an organization, it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, you never know what Valve's doing though. I mean, 1 minute Valve's working on hardware, then the next thing they patch Half-Life 1. I don't really know what happens in the Valve office. They just get together, come to work, do what you want today, guys. Work on anything. Well, you know what? All the fans want sequels to these games, but I tell you what we're going to give you guys. You really want a card game. And you know what? In a time when card games are slowly disappearing from the market, it's like they come to the party late. Okay, Hearthstone's still big and it's great, but there's
Elder Scrolls card game.
They've all tried it, and it's kind of proved that Hearthstone's the king and no one else is going to take that throne. Even RuneScape tried to get in on the action with a board game / card game thing, which I never tried, but it always looked interesting. So
apparently it was pretty well received, but not many players.
Which has been the same for all other card games. Look at Scrolls. I mean, Mojang even tried it before Hearthstone was literally just as Hearthstone was getting popular. That was a very good card game with very good mechanics, but it just
nostalgia right there.
Yeah, that beta access. What was your first experience with Scrolls on camera, Ziklag? Let's just remind people of that.
Yeah, you know what? We went to Minecon, was it 2012?
2012 went to Minecon, yeah.
You know what? I feel like that was the prime for Minecraft as a game and the community. I felt like everyone was there at that event. It was so in the moment. It was so surreal. I wish I could relive it. It was such a fantastic experience.
Yeah. Just to give you the short version, in fact, it wasn't even a live stream. People didn't live stream at the time, but it was like a recording for the whole exhibit. What's that Minecraft gamer that's what's her name? She streams everything. Lydia. Lydia came round with the filming crew and Captain Sparkles. There's a video of Lydia and Captain Sparkles over the shoulder of Ziklag playing Scrolls for the first time. Like literally the viewer's first view of Scrolls. This is a world first. Here's Scrolls for the first time, and literally it spins round to the screen and it's just got defeat on the screen.
Okay.
It's such a funny video.
Story. Wait. Please let me defend myself. We were testing how good the AI were. And as soon as the AI started beating my ass, I'm like, oh yeah, the AI's pretty good in this game. She comes around with the camera crew. I'm like, please don't pick me. Oh my God, it's Captain Sparkles. He's right next to me. I've got the lights in my face. I'm like, oh my God, this is my moment. This is Ziklag. Here, I'm here. Please look at me. And they pan to the camera. Oh boy, that was.
He's got a TheSneakyBros t-shirt on as well, which makes it even greater.
Representing.
You know what the funny thing was? Like, we spent loads of time playing Scrolls at Minecon that year. In fact, I think we played more Scrolls than we did Minecon because we were just so hyped for it. And yeah, as you said, we were playing it on normal. We were getting pretty good at it, like we were building decks and stuff like that. And then you switch to hard mode on AI, and the camera crew just rolling at that. Perfect, beautiful moment, beautiful. It's on YouTube.
I don't know what it is, but it's. Why does that always happen? Why?
But you were talking about Minecon that year, actually, with how hyped it was. Like the sort of people we interacted with that, but we saw Captain Sparkles multiple times that event. We were on the bus drunk with Hat Films coming back from Skrillex.
They were at the back. Yeah. There was also Fire UK. They were there that year as well, and they're in the back of the bus as well. They're not actually active anymore, I believe. I believe they've gone to do their other things. But yeah, they're in the back of the bus as well, and it was nuts.
That was such a weird coach ride, because everyone else got the early coaches out, and we kind of like stayed for like the last bit of Skrillex and like just kind of milled around. And then all the coach party had left to go back to Disney, to go back to Minecon. And then there was this one group of people that was left waiting for the coach. And it just so happened to be like all the YouTube celebrities that had been in the VIP area and the TheSneakyBros that had just sort of missed all the other coaches.
Wait. Oh, were we not YouTube celebs? Were we not brought out there to the private party? Come on.
I don't know. We weren't invited into the VIP section, but...
You don't need to tell the fans that, all right? For the record, right, we were chauffeured there in a limo. We got brought up. We shook hands with Notch himself. Skrillex gave me a beer. We had a good time.
Oh my God, everyone we were dancing with the Mojang crew as well at Skrillex.
We were, yeah. What's his name? I swear it's one of the artists.
It was one of the graphic artists, and we were chatting to him while Skrillex was on. I remember that now.
I feel like a washed out YouTuber. Those were the days.
Washed out YouTubers.
Anyway.
We're going to talk about that later on. Washed out YouTubers. Washed out TheSneakyBros. I mean...
Well, I don't know how we diverged from the whole conversation, but I was going to make a point of how well the Switch has been selling recently. I don't know how we got to this conversation, but yeah, the Switch has been selling brilliantly, especially over here in the US.
Yeah, I'm
Great
gonna
sales.
purchase a Switch myself when Smash comes out because I absolutely love 2D fighters, 2D sandbox fighters. I'll have that. So Smash Brothers, Brawlhalla, all that sort of stuff. In fact, what started this conversation, and we haven't finished talking about it, is crossplay and the fact that Sony is still reluctant to have crossplay. I mean, Rocket League were the leaders in trying to make it happen. Rocket League first introduced PC and Xbox, and it's crossplay, kind of. Like, you can join parties together and you can play on the same servers, but you can't play ranked and cooperative at the moment. But they have said it's something they're working on, and they think they can make possible.
It's a very weird situation. I feel like there's no rules or no ground rules set out yet. For example, you have the VR game Rec Room, which is cross-play between PS4 and PC, with all those headsets as well. But then you have things like Fortnite, which isn't crossplay, and or it's crossplay in a certain sense where you have to do some weird things in a third-party website. And like you said, with Rocket League, you can't do everything that you would like. It's just this whole crossplay thing. I feel like Sony has just got that. They just want to keep all their eggs in the basket. They kind of want to keep all that exclusivity to themselves, and I feel like they just need to just let it go just a little bit. Just spread your wings a little bit, just open your arms, just let it flow, because
it's so anti-consumer friendly, and it's not going to not sell any more PlayStations. They know the PlayStation is only selling because of the exclusives at the moment. They know Microsoft has got the more powerful console. We can have the console argument all you want. The Xbox is more powerful at the moment. But what is selling the more PlayStations is them exclusives. And this mindset is not consumer friendly, because there's games for me that I'm missing out on that I want to play on PlayStation. I'm not sure. I mean, I think the exclusive market will stay, and I don't think that's anything that we're not going to see disappear. Because like David Cage's new Detroit Becoming Human's coming out, and I love David Cage games. Like Fahrenheit Indigo Child was the first one I played. I played it. I played a little bit of Heavy Rain. In fact, I played a decent amount of Heavy Rain, but I had to play it on like other people's PlayStations, so I don't own one. Beyond Two Souls.
That's a bit awkward.
Yeah. Beyond Two
Excuse me, could I just just step into your house and play some Heavy Rain?
Pretty much. That's pretty much how it was. Beyond Two Souls didn't really play much of, but you've been playing some Beyond Two Souls recently, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a co-op mode, like a couch co-op mode. So, me and my wife, we stick it on, and, one person plays as the kind of ghostly entity, and the other plays as the human. I'm not going to spoil the story because I'm sure you'll play it in the future, but there's a lot of interactivity with the, there's always choices with the game, isn't there? I remember one choice I did thinking it wouldn't do much, then it led to this big catastrophe of just fire and death, and I was like, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah, if you've never played a David Cage game, basically they're kind of cinematic-esque. They're a bit like the Telltale games, just better. Like he had this idea, like I say, Fahrenheit Indigo Child. I'm sure that was PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2. That came out for. Absolutely amazing game. You played both the murderer and the detectives in this game, and then you also switch to a couple of other characters like in between, and you actually for me, I don't often care about protagonists in games. Like, I couldn't care less what happens to them, but you actually care about the characters. It's almost movie-esque because there's not much mechanical skill you need for David Cage games. You're not kind of need to shoot things or you die or anything like that. Like, it's not very often that happens. It normally just leads to a different part of the story. And that sounds very boring, me sort of explaining it that way, but you just get so engrossed in it. There's a lot of timed events that you must hit buttons at certain times to stop you from dying and things like that. But just amazing. Detroit Becoming Human, the trailer looks amazing. It released a couple of weeks ago. It's got that Heavy Rain look about it. Even the neighborhood it's set in, it looks almost identical. A very mysterious plot line. Usually demons are involved somewhere if it involves David Cage. But yeah, his games, he's one of my favourite game directors. And it's
they did a pretty advertising campaign as well. Like I believe they got a lot of streamers involved, and there was a lot of hype for the game for about a week. And I believe there's still, quite a few thousand dedicated people streaming the game.
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's like, you have these games that can be streamed constantly, and people really enjoy watching them. Like, your battle royales, your FIFAs, your Call of Duties, your Battlefield. Like, people can watch them all the time, because with multiplayer games, it's always different. But with story-driven single-player games, once you've seen it through once, yes, okay, you can watch someone else and see how they've done it. But with single-player games, it's all about playing it yourself. So that's why I can see hype dropping off pretty quick. People might go and watch a stream. I'll see how it looks. Oh, it looks great. I'll go buy that. But I feel with especially David Cage games, you've got to go and buy it yourself. And can I just put a disclaimer here? Definitely not sponsored by David Cage or Quantic Dreams. I don't want people calling me out like, is this a sponsorship? Just like...
Although, if you do, give us a call.
Yeah, if Quantic Dreams want me to be a sponsor for your games, I'll happily come down to your studios in Paris, France. And yeah.
He will happily be your janitor. He is that dedicated.
I love you, David. No, it's just a really unique game style that they kind of carry through. And yeah, it's sort of this perfect mix between film and video games. And they use loads of motion capture for it as well, which is why it's so great. So, but anyway, I'm going to stop talking about David Cage right now.
Well, there's one point I want to bring up with what you just discussed, is how you talked about how in his games, it made you feel for the bad guy as well. Like it told his story, it told his point of view, and he's not just your typical big muscly, I'm gonna beat up this guy kind of bad guy. He has a storyline, and
yeah,
I think
it was quite messed up actually. Yeah, it was in Fahrenheit definitely messed up.
For me personally, I remember playing for Far Cry 3, and one of the bad guys called, I think his name was Vass. Have you heard definition of insanity kind of guy? You've probably seen some memes about him, but I remember the spoilers, the death scene of him, and
spoiler. Anyway,
such an emotional ride of just like seeing the progressiveness of this bad guy through the story, and then just his death scene is just so emotional with like the soundtracks going, and it's crazy. But yeah, it's always nice to see in gaming to actually see a more fully fledged out bad guy with like a full on story, and you see it more from his perspective. So it's cool. I like it.
Speaking of them big character deaths that you actually felt for, so we mentioned Call of Duty, COD 4. Was that the one that had the big like death at the end, like the big twist? Or was it Modern Warfare?
You know what? I think most of the crazy deaths happened in Modern Warfare 2, I believe. There were some pretty big ones, but there's been several ones in all of the Modern Warfare games, to be fair. I remember...
I think they're the only games I cared about the characters, to be honest. Like, I didn't really care about the rest of them.
Yeah, I feel like Modern Warfare had the perfect character set. All the rest, I wasn't really bothered. Actually, I remember Black Ops 1. I was attached to a few, characters there. Mason, the numbers, the memes. But yeah, I mean, it's very hard to, create characters, to have such depth and storyline to get attached to the viewers. But when it happens, it's amazing. It's crazy that, games can give you those feels.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like good storytelling in gaming, which is why I don't see single-player games dying anytime soon. I mean, Bethesda are going to hit us with a bunch of single-player games coming soon anyway, despite Fallout 76 coming out soon. Have you seen what the modding community is doing with Fallout 76?
No, I've not heard about anything.
So basically, someone's taken Fallout 4 and he's making a mod called Fallout 4 76. And basically, they're removing 90% of the NPCs, replacing them with human players that just shoot you as soon as you get anywhere near, and then at random points, without even being told about it, you just get nuked.
Oh, modding community. Oh, course you're doing that. Of course. Well played. Well, you know what? Fallout 76, at first, when Mr. Todd Howard came out and said it is online, exclusively online, it will always be online, I was optimistic. But now that they've talked about possibly in the future adding in private servers or co-op with only just your friends in there as well, that brings, that's more of my kind of style, because it is true. We've always thought of, how would a Bethesda Softworks, Elder Scrolls or Fallout game work with co-op and online. We've all thought about it. There's been mods in the past that has recreated that in a certain way. Obviously, it was bug riddled and all that kind of thing, and it didn't quite work properly. But the concept was there. We've all wanted it, and now it's here, and they have gotten a lot of backlash. But I'm open arms. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to see what's going to happen with the community. But I'm more looking forward to Starfield and Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
So
I think they've had enough time to test the water with multiplayer games as well with the Elder Scrolls Online. Because they did big things with Elder Scrolls Online. They had huge servers with unprecedented amount of players on playing Elder Scrolls Online. I remember queuing at Eurogamer again to play the Elder Scrolls Online demo. And it's great. I wish I played Elder Scrolls Online more, actually. I say I've got it. I've got an account. I might go back and play it, actually, for that multiplayer Bethesda experience before Fallout 76. Are you still there?
Sorry, I was having some connection issues.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a podcast without any technical issues. I could edit that out.
I couldn't hear like robot noise. I'm not gonna pretend and just say yes at the end of your sentence, like yes, I understand. And then I think you kind of asked me a question, didn't you?
It just went awkwardly silent for a while.
What was your question?
I can't remember now.
It was something about 76 or your Elder Scrolls.
It's just saying, yeah, I'm just gonna play some more Elder Scrolls Online and enjoy that multiplayer Bethesda experience.
Apparently, they're still saying it's doing really well. But then again, you would say that, wouldn't you?
You gotta say that, yeah.
But you know what? I still see loads of people playing it. So there's still people streaming it. I have friends that play it. So there must be still a pretty big community around it. So it's interesting.
So yeah, that's Bethesda's look to the future. I feel like we're a bit late to the party to talk about too much E3 stuff.
But touching on that, I mean, like, did you take anything major away from E3? Is there anything that caught your eye, that got your attention? Any games?
I don't think there's anything that I didn't expect. I don't like that E3 is this big hyped event, which is all for sponsors and stuff like that. It's not for the public as much as we'll make you believe it's for the public. It's all to sort of show off to sponsors and funders. Oh, this is how great we are. Look at this that's coming. Because we've already seen half of these games before they're announced at E3. Bethesda did it well and keep it under wraps. But how many games leak before E3? Or they have a pre-E3 conference? Like, I want games companies to come out at E3 on the stage, and that's the first time you hear about a game. Okay, some companies do that. But, like, big releases, like, we already know about them half the time before E3. And there's nothing really that surprised me or got me, like, massively hyped. There's a few things. Obviously, Forza Horizon. I'm a driving game fan, so Forza Horizon beautiful. Coming to the UK. The memes have been the memes have been great.
It's coming home.
You wouldn't understand if you weren't from the UK. Like, it just goes on about roadworks and getting stuck in traffic on the M6, which is basically what driving in the UK is. But yeah, looking forward to Forza Horizon coming to the UK, because all rumours for the past year pointed to it going to Tokyo and like having this drift kind of import tuning scene. But it's coming back to the UK. Obviously, Turn 10 Studios Scottish, so they know what driving in the UK is like. Because some games have done driving in the UK before, but they've been American studios and they've not quite grasped that you kind of have to, driving in Wales, you might have to dodge sheep every now and again, stuff like that. It's
By the way, E3, that was Vale's point of view. If you want to send me some tickets, E3, we are different. We are different human beings. So just pop those in the post, and we don't have to invite him. You can just invite me, and I'll put on a good show. But I agree. There's too many rendered out videos which don't show enough gameplay, and there's so many leaks, isn't there? So companies have to show their trailers or whatever, early.
I mean, there's the odd leak is fine, but then you can be like Valve and just not tell anyone what you're up to. Valve don't have to do anything. Steam makes them a horrendous amount of money every month. Valve could literally all quit the office, just have someone making sure the servers are upline, and they'd still be the biggest gaming company around.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, all they need to do is come up on stage, Gabe, and just say, free. That's all he needs to do. That's all he needs to do.
I've got this theory that it's going to happen at some point. And he's going to come up... I can just see it in my mind. It's perfect. He's going to come up on stage and say 3. But then he's going to hit us. He's going to say Half-Life 3. Portal 3. Left 4 Dead 3. Oh, just imagine. Oh,
that is the dream.
That is
but
the
I'm not
dream.
Sure I'm not sure if you've really read of what's actually happening with Valve. They're actually making fully fledged AAA VR games right now.
Yes, they are. Yeah, I've seen all the gameplay demos that they've come out with. They brought out a Portal on the Moon thing where it's just basically showcasing this grip gun that I was on about earlier, and how you can in fact, if you got a VR headset, you can download it and play it. It's on Steam. It's it uses the Portal mechanics with the Portal gun and stuff like that, just to sort of show you how the VR headset will work. But Valve, that's just another fish. Go on.
For me personally, I was going to point out that the big hype for me for E3 was Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red, the creators of the Witcher series. Those guys, in my opinion, these guys are the new Bethesda. Bethesda, they've kind of gone off the rails a little bit, but hopefully in the future they'll get back on track. CD Projekt Red, they know how to make a single-player RPG, and the trailer was just, I've replayed that trailer about 20 times. I've downloaded the soundtrack and the song used in the trailer. I'm loving it. I'm loving the hype around that game.
Yeah, I never played The Witcher, despite loads of people telling me to play The Witcher, so I'm going to have to give it a go.
Definitely. I mean, it's usually on sale, and most of their added content is free, and they do major content releases as well, which are a few paid, but it's worth the price. So
yeah. So going back to driving games briefly, talking about new releases that we've been playing. I've been playing The Crew 2 this week, the second edition of Ivory Tower's game, The Crew 1. Also creators of Test Drive Unlimited, if you played old driving games back on the Xbox 360, that was. Test Drive Unlimited is still one of the biggest maps in driving games. Crew 2 is obviously bigger. For those of you who don't know, The Crew, it's basically North America, and you can drive across it. And it's obviously a watered down North America, but it does take a long time to drive across. You've got all the major cities there with major landmarks, New York City, Miami, Vegas, even Seattle's in there. And it's just a real good game. Like, they've got rid of the awkward storyline that was in Crew 1. And they've kind of made it all about driving now. It's a little bit cheesy. You've got to turn up and gain fans.
You would bloody hope so, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Because it was like a revenge storyline before, like someone's brother got killed or something like that, and you had to do all these driving missions. So they got rid of that awkwardness, and it's just about about driving now. Which is better. It's an easier storyline to create. They've basically cleaned up The Crew 1, and the driving mechanics are far better than The Crew 1. I got used to them, and I really liked The Crew. And they've still got this, you've got to win races and events to gain loot to level up. So it's kind of like, it's like an MMORPG with cars. So you do missions to gain loot to gear up and stuff like that. But you do that with cars. So it's good. I've not played a great deal amount of it at the moment, but it just feels like they've taken the Crew 1, cleaned it up a bit. Here's the Crew 2. Still the same map, obviously, North America to scale. They've cleaned up some textures and stuff like that. But it's good. It's good fun playing it with other people as well, just sort of driving around. Like, I spent loads of time just in the first game, just like cruising across some of the places, because some of the scenery is absolutely beautiful in that game. And yeah, looking forward to playing it some more.
Awesome. There's also talking about E3, touching on that topic as well. There's Anthem that was showing off with some gameplay, some more gameplay footage since it was announced a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of them games where we're just gonna get a trailer every single E3 till it comes out. Like Sea of Thieves was the same. Like it appeared at about 3 E3s, and it was just like, oh, this is getting annoying now. Anthem, yeah, I'm not too sure. To be honest, I think Anthem might do better because Destiny 2 was very poor. Like, I loved Destiny 1. Destiny 1 was brilliant. The only reason I stopped playing Destiny 1 only because I moved from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, and I didn't want to buy it again because I don't think you can't move over. I could be wrong, but either way, there was a reason why I didn't want to get Destiny again for the Xbox One. Destiny 1 was great. Loads of fun on Destiny 1. Destiny 2, I was about to buy it. Literally ready to press purchase. And someone said, don't bother, I've been playing it all week. It's not that good. And so I didn't.
Wow.
And then I watched all my friends that had purchased it just stop playing it. And I've seen all this negative hype around it, and everyone's like, it's not that great. It's okay. And I'm sure there's some Destiny 2 fans out there. I feel that's got a hardcore community. But I think because Destiny 2, and I think they've admitted they've missed the mark, Anthem could take the stage if they're quick, but I don't think they will be. But that looter shooter genre, I do quite enjoy. Like The Division, like another looter shooter. Do missions, get more gear. Do the same missions, get more gear. Do it on hard mode, get better gear. It's weird, but I really quite like them games. Like, just the same missions, just getting a little bit harder each time, and you come up with some strategies. I mean, The Division, I absolutely loved that game. It's so good, and it was okay when it came out. The position it's in now, and the DLC that's coming in the future, because they're still supporting it, it's just a really good game. The only problem with it is its player base drops off a bit. Like, if you want to play survival mode and stuff like that, it takes a long time to get a game. But it's an absolutely outstanding game. I love the setting of New York. The second one is coming to Washington, and I totally forgot when you asked me about games of E3. Division 2 was my one. I totally forgot that was announced. Yeah, I'm a little bit gutted New York City's not there anymore, because I love, a zombie survival setting in New York City. Call outs to I Am Legend and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? It'd be interesting in Washington because it's a bit more open. Because New York City allowed for this very small streets combat.
Get a bit more green in there.
And then underground subways and stuff. Yeah, get a bit more green in the capital and see what's happening. But yeah, the Division 2, really looking forward to that. I mean, they really did mess up on their launch on Division 1. They didn't hit any of the promises they made. But again, it was a game that was ahead of its time. And I think
it was, yeah.
They're there now with the technology, and they can do all the stuff they wanted to do.
I mean, with Anthem, it was kind of cool for you to actually touch upon that point of the Bungie game not selling very well. Just the name flew from my head.
Division, not Division. Well, I've forgotten now. That's how much Destiny is left from our minds.
Destiny 2, yeah. So I personally, I don't really play a lot of those shooter-looter games that you were saying. I've been meaning to play them, but even if I don't buy Anthem, I want it to do well, purely for the reason that I've heard rumors of BioWare, could cease to exist if this doesn't perform well, because we all know about EA and shutting down those companies,
Yeah, I'm a lot of salty about studios EA have shut down, especially all the big RTS studios that they bought back in the day.
There's a pretty big list, and I would hate to see BioWare, the creators of Mass Effect, to be on that list. We all know Mass Effect Andromeda did absolutely poorly, and but I really want them to bounce back, and I don't want Anthem to be, the nail in the coffin. I really want this company to bounce back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Anthem. I'll probably get it because I didn't get Destiny, and I'll probably be screwing on a looter shooter around that time because Division will probably just be ready to come out. Also, and as well, this is a big thing. People who like that space age looter shooter are all on Warframe anyway, which is a free to play looter shooter. Okay, it's got horrendous microtransactions and DLCs, but that's what you expect from a free-to-play looter shooter. I've never tried Warframe. I've wanted to. I've heard it's very in-depth. There's a huge technology tree for it and stuff like that, which sounds interesting. But like I find with even the basic looter shooters, you get people that are just so into it, and it's all about the stats of each weapon and stuff like that. And I barely keep up with stuff like that. I just enjoy getting a good gun. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's very rare. I'll use that. Yeah, yeah. With looter shooters, it's gold. It must be worth something. I'll use it. And then people are like, "Oh, why are you using that in that build? That's rubbish." I'm like, I don't care. It's a gold gun.
Amazing.
But no, it's good, and I'm looking forward to them couple of looter shooters that are coming out. It's a good genre. A lot of people said they couldn't enjoy the Division because like the enemies, like you'd put 100 shots into a guy and he's still alive and stuff like that, and it wasn't quite real. And if you can suspend the illusion of disbelief, it's a great game. It doesn't bother me that I put 100 shots in a guy and he's still alive because I've taken 100 shots also. It's just about the grind of missions, and for some reason I can't tell you why, but it's entertaining, especially with friends. So I'm Division 1 great, Division 2 should be even better. So I'm going to move on to a couple of other releases that I've been playing recently. Been playing obviously endless battle royales, but Realm Royale, been playing that.
Realm Royale, by Hi-Res Studios.
Yeah, Hi-Res Studios love jumping on the bandwagons, and it's interesting. It's taken the Fallout art, the Fortnite art style, and but it basically even looks exactly this game. They've got rid of the building mechanics. They've added this crafting mechanic to the game but you can only craft in these hotspots.
I usually hate crafting mechanics, but they've done it right because it's simple.
It's dead simple. Yeah. You gain shards which you disenchant weapons. Like if you don't want to pick up a weapon that you found, you basically destroy it to gain these shards that you can though spend in these forge where you can craft like the top tier armor and stuff like that. But these forges are only at like certain places in the map, and when you start using one, like they smoke from the top, so it tells nearby players that you're there. So it creates these choke points in the map. So obviously, because battle royale games suffer from this dead mid game. Because the circle's closing in, everyone's found a good spot to hide out. We'll just chill here while the circle comes in. And by all means, that's how you can play Realm Royale if you want to play. But if you want the best armor and the best weapons, you've got to go to these forges, which means you're probably going to end up in a fight. I am awful at the fighting mechanics, but I'm still enjoying the game.
Which is the main mechanic of the game.
Yeah. I feel with these games, you've got to get used to the fighting mechanics on it. And they've got this big down mechanic where you turn into a chicken, and you get 30 seconds before you revive, and you get like 3 of these chickens. Obviously,
and you become a satisfied chicken chaser.
That call out to
Fable.
To Fable.
Those are the days. Pete, I'm on you.
Chicken chaser.
I still believe.
Been playing for that actually, but anyway, we'll come back to that later.
Go on.
But yeah, it's, you can kill the chicken and then you get the official kill, and then you take the golden chicken from the player you just killed, and you can get better armor and stuff like that. So it kind of forces you into combat, because if you want the best weapons, you need shards, but then you need these golden chickens, which you get from killing players. So it stops this real dead mid-game that that Battle Royale suffer from. And Fortnite suffers from it as well. Okay, it's got the building mechanics, but there's a lot of time in Fortnite where you're just walking across the map. And obviously PUBG's famous for it. But Realm Royale, it seems to have combated that, and that you can tell that's what they've targeted when they've made this Battle Royale game. Get rid of this dead mid-game. Start game's great, hot drop, kill loads of people, it's dead. And, okay, they've combated that, and it's interesting. It's not quite there. There's a lot of things that really annoy me about the game. But we'll see. We'll play it a bit more.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's something to keep an eye on. You know, obviously, Battle Royale games are popping up everywhere. You know, you got Battlefield that have announced a Battle Royale game mode, then obviously the new Black Ops game, they're getting rid of the campaign to then have a fully fledged out Battle Royale mode. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see, how it all works out. Do you have any thoughts about, the Battle Royale genre as a whole? Is it going to stay? Is it going to die?
I think it will. I think it's just the natural progression into this genre. Games we've seen sort of games move across this spectrum, and then they just fall into different categories. Obviously, MOBAs were the big thing a few years ago, and I think the Battle Royale is just an extension of that MOBA style. People love PvP, where you can outplay someone and stuff like that, and you can do that in Battle Royale games. And I think they're here to stay. I love them personally. I'll give any Battle Royale a go. Darwin Project, great. Obviously, big PUBG fan. Played a bit of Fortnite. Sorry, guys. Yeah, not a Fortnite fan. Not on that bandwagon. I mean, I do enjoy Fortnite. I just don't have the time to commit to these crazy building mechanics. I mean, when it first entered beta, I played it a lot on the Xbox. And this was before like people got really good at it, and you'd be in fights and people wouldn't build a tower in 2 seconds. Like, this was before people really figured that's what you've got to do in this game to win. But yeah, all the Battle Royale games, love them. Looking forward to more. Speaking of Battlefield, been watching the alpha footage of people been playing. Been watching a lot of Dark, a lot of Shroud play Battlefield 5. It looks like Bad Company. Like, I've wanted a Bad Company sequel for ages. But as long as it plays like Bad Company, I'm not that fussed. So it looks great. The gameplay looks really slick. A bit more slow-paced than Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 was really fast-paced, straight into the action. Bang, bang, bang.
It was, yeah.
You can sort of get shot in the spawn kind of style.
I felt like Battlefield 1 was more of getting a larger audience, so they made it a bit more simpler compared to their other games. So, like you said, with it maybe being a tiny bit more slower pace, especially with now the newly installed building mechanics of defending certain areas,
Yeah, it's I'm not sure how that's going to work yet, but just the gunplay in general, like, I watched a lot of the sniper play and stuff, and it just looks and feels like Bad Company. Like, Bad Company for ages, you could go and, like, especially Bad Company 2, like, we played it quite a lot, I remember. You just go and find yourself, like, if you're a sniper, go find yourself a spot, and just pick people off for ages on the map. Okay, you wouldn't get a high kill count, but it felt really satisfying because you were contributing, because if you killed someone, it took them ages to get back to that spot they were trying to push to, especially if you're playing Rush. Not so much Conquest, but Rush definitely, which is good around the Bad Company 2 times. In the modern Battlefields, I've played less Rush because it's been really close, high octane combat that's felt like Call of Duty, and that's not how it used to be in Battlefields. It used to be really slow, tactical, moving forwards, and you used to feel in Rush, like when you were getting beaten, you could physically feel that you had to pull back, and you knew you were being overrun. And you don't get that feeling in some of the newer Rush modes. But yeah, looking forward to Battlefield 5. Call of Duty, I'm not sure. I convinced myself I was going to buy the last one, and then didn't because of negative feedback.
You made the right choice. You really did. I bought it because I was under the illusion that I was going to get a World War II game. Yeah, I got one, but it was terrible. They just painted new paint on new models and called it a new game. It was awful.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Call of Duty. The thing is, though, any Call of Duty I buy, it's half decent. Like, you know what to expect from a Call of Duty game. You're going to get a multiplayer with kill streaks and perks and stuff like that, and decent guns. There's usually a submachine gun that's overpowered. That's how it works. And you're going to have a half decent time, regardless of the setting, really. Like Advanced Warfare, I was really worried about that one, because that was the sort of first big move away from the boots on the ground games. Obviously, there was Black Ops there as well. But I remember the jetpack mechanic. I quite enjoyed it at the time. I think that was because I was playing Destiny at the time, and that had that double jump jetpack mechanic. And so I was kind of like, used to using that in a shooter. But yeah, Call of Duty, it'll still be popular regardless. That it'll never be as popular as it used to be, just because others are doing it different or better. I know there is a games company now, an indie games company. I wish I'd researched this before we mentioned, but there's someone who's made a Call of Duty-esque multiplayer shooter, which literally is like these couple of kill streaks and perks, like how it used to be in like COD 4 and Modern Warfare and stuff like that.
Do you think it's a bit crazy that Activision, Call of Duty are now, following the footsteps, creating a battle royale mode? They're not coming up with their own ideas. They kind of,
I think it proves that they just didn't move with the times, and it's their own fault. They got complacent in the fact that they were the best shooter every year that everyone wanted to play.
Yeah, correct.
They got complacent with that. They allowed to run away with their own ideas. We're doing space, we're doing future and stuff like that. And people realise people just want a boots on the ground. PUBG led the way with that sort of, it's boots on the ground. Okay, it's super simulation. And then people realise, oh, actually, I quite like this. And then bang, all the other offshoots spawned off. And it's another quick to get into fast action games, and that's why battle royales are taking off. And there's that, the thing with battle royale games as well,
ease of access,
which is different to arena can we call them arena shooters like Call of Duty and stuff like that? Yeah, I think you can. Like Doom, Call of Duty, Battlefield, like they're in, like you respawn and stuff like that. Kills in battle royale games, you get so much more satisfaction for a kill in a battle royale game, and I think that's what the draw to is at the moment. Like a kill in a COD game, yeah, it's good, but at the end of the game, it's all about your KDA. Did you get a good KDA? Each kill itself, not that interesting. I can't remember any half decent kills I got in COD or anything like that, or Battlefield. But I can pick out some amazing kills that I was like, whoa, in some Battle Royale games, in all of them actually. And I think that's the difference. Like the kill satisfaction is completely different in Battle Royale games.
I wanna call out a game. It's DayZ. You all get attached to your character, and I think you do get attached a little bit to your Royale characters compared to just like a Call of Duty run, gun and shoot, because there's a bit more of a storyline going on with when you drop on a map, with you picking up a loot that is different every time. You've got different pals to play with every time on different maps with different players with different play styles. It's just a completely different storyline,
especially when you're working with your mates as well. Like your mate picks up a silencer and he passes it to you, that's great, and you feel okay. You suddenly change your playstyle to use the silencer to its full capacity, or you get a sniper rifle, and then you suddenly find the 8x scope. So, oh great, I can finally use a sniper rifle to its advantage.
And then you get shot in the back.
Yeah, you get shot in the back. Yeah, but I'm glad you mentioned DayZ actually, because I've been back on it recently. I was never in the original DayZ hype of the DayZ mod times, but I've been playing. I played the experimental, which has taken out vehicles and zombies just to sort of show you how DayZ's going to work. And it looks clean, real nice UI. There's actually a UI for hunger and thirst and all that sort of stuff. But that's all you can see on the UI, just that there, which is good because it's easy to follow. And then I went back to the current state of the DayZ, and you know what? It's not in a bad state at the moment. It runs well. I'm not going to say it runs very well for a game that's been out as long as it should. But I think it get there, and I can see a DayZ resurgence coming soon. I don't think it's going to be massive, and if they do it properly, I mean, I know they paid a bunch of streamers to play it recently, and that flopped. Well, they should have waited till the game's at least in a good situation. But you've been playing it as well, and I think it's something coming back about DayZ.
I do, yeah. There's been a lot of hype. There's been, YouTubers coming back to it, making videos of, hey, I'm returning to DayZ, or this is what DayZ looks like now, or this is what's going to be happening in the future. Everyone's so hyped. Well, you know what? I am going to say it. Everyone is hyped for 0.63. I am too. I'm a big fan of the DayZ genre. It's kind of what created this whole survival genre, which then moved to battle royale genre. It all kind of came from DayZ. I felt like So, Daisy will always have that, that emotional touch in my heart of being such an innovative game for me, and seeing it, starting to get a bit more, hype and popularity around this like release. I'm really hoping it does well, but one of their lead developers has recently left, so hopefully they can pull out of the bag.
Yeah, and obviously Bohemian Interactive working on a new game as well, which is another survival kind of game. And I think we've lacked a decent survival game of recent times because they've all been battle royale focused. And we went through this big phase, obviously when Minecraft came out, that sort of led the way in the crafting and survival genre. For these like games where you really put a lot of time into one playthrough, one life, do what you can, survive out in the wilderness, and people really enjoy that.
But maybe this is where Fallout 76 comes into play. Maybe they're realizing that there's still a market for survival. Let's try it out.
You know what? A good survival in the Fallout universe would be great. And if they do it right, it's going to be really fun. The base, you take the base building from Fallout 4, you build yourself a great base, you fortify it, you defend it, you go out on raids to other people, maybe steal a few things, and it's great. I think they could really hit the mark with it, as long as it can't get griefed too easily. That's what I'm worried about. Because speaking of griefing, there's a good way in Forza, they stop griefing. If people are in your party, like, you can do what you want, you can bash each other off the road, do what you want. But if they're not in your party, they can still drive around with you, but they ghost through you so they can't grief you. And then you can choose to join up and stuff like that. That doesn't work in a survival shooter where you've got to kill people and stuff like that. But, I think they've really got to consider the fact that, you want to put a lot of time into building a base. And if it's going to get blown up by a nuke, are you going to be annoyed? I think the way they stop that is they make it easy to do. Like, you don't have to grind for 10 hours to build an amazing base for it to suddenly get nuked. That's going to annoy people.
Yeah, which is always the main concern for survival games, is you put, so much time and effort. Sometimes it feels like a fully fledged MMO where you're doing these skills and you're getting these resources for hours, and then it all falls to pieces when like a bug happens or someone destroys you. Hopefully they can tackle that, like you just said. Maybe they have some kind of mechanic, or maybe they can refine it. Like I said, there is going to be a beta, isn't there? So they could get more stats then.
No, I'm looking forward to it. There's some interesting games coming out soon. I think some of the big companies are realizing they've been complacent for too long, and it was always going to happen. They're always going to fall off the perch at some point. And the games industry is at a point where I think anyone could come up with anything, and we'll see. The shooters are definitely the cool thing at the moment. They've always been king, but the years of the MOBA, like things like League of Legends, it's still top of Twitch, regardless of what. I mean, Fortnite often pushes it off the top, but League of Legends still up there. People still like MOBAs, so for me, League of Legends, I put a lot of time into League. And I still do play it. It's in a bad state right now for me, just in the way the meta works. And I don't want to talk about League too much, because we don't do a lot of MOBA stuff on our channel. So
no, we don't. But moving on, kind of touching a bit back at E3, there is one more discussion I'd like to pick your brain about, is this whole gaming industry moving towards a monthly payment method. Instead of just outright buying a new release of a game, you can subscribe to, for example, Microsoft the Xbox Pass to then have access to the exclusive games outright as soon as they come out.
Yeah, you know what? Game Pass, absolutely brilliant. I love it. I'm a subscriber to Game Pass. I got Sea of Thieves on there. I'm gonna get the next 2 Forza releases on there. I got State of Decay 2, which I don't want to talk about it because it's awful. It is awful. There's a lot of people that love State of Decay 2, but it's got absolutely clunky combat and movement mechanics and camera movement. It's all clunky, and I hate it.
Wow.
It's a zombie survival base building game. Sounds amazing, but guess what? Someone else has failed at another zombie survival base building game. No one's going to get it right. And I'm going to get triggered if I keep talking about State of Decay 2. I'm so happy I got it. See, that's why Game Pass is good as well, because I get these for free and I can try them out. I don't get them for free, I pay for them. But this model's very good. I want to take... I remember Co-optional Podcast talking about this. WWE opted for this subscription model a long time ago. They used to do these big pay-per-views, so you've got your WrestleManias, your Royal Rumbles, your SummerSlam. Yeah. And they're three big earners, and they'd get loads of money from these pay-per-views. But then, like, other stuff like Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, would be really low-performing pay-per-views, and they wouldn't get a lot of viewership for them because people just wouldn't want to buy them.
Yeah.
So they changed this £10 a month subscription service, and they've seen their profits rise dramatically. Okay, they don't make as much money on WrestleMania and Royal Rumble as they used to, but the smaller events, they're making far more money than they used to. And because people have got the ability to watch them, their viewership's higher, so they can, do more endorsements during them and stuff like that. So for WWE, they've sort of set the precedent for this. They've sort of proved, okay, the model works. And Xbox are going the same. Okay, you're going to lose out on your big releases. And I'm not sure how they decided how they distribute the money to the developers. I don't think we've really heard too much about that. But Game Pass, as a consumer, it's amazing. Whether it's sustainable, I don't know. But I'm getting games that I'd pay 50, 60 quid for if I can't remember how much it is. It's like, is it $10 a month? Maybe a bit more than that. I think it's a bit more.
Yeah. It seems they seem to be keeping to that, that whole Netflix payment.
The only thing I'm worried about with it is there are just so many subscriptions at the moment for things. That is the big problem. Like, I've got a subscription to Netflix. I've got, obviously, my Game Pass subscription. I then have my Xbox Live subscription on the top of that. I then have other games that I play online that I have a subscription to. Like, if I jump back to RuneScape, I play RuneScape membership there. That's some more money. Amazon Prime, if I want to watch something on, there's another subscription. That's 5 subscriptions we're up to at the moment. Then, let's say I was playing a big MMO. Okay, they're not really popular right now, but let's say Star Wars Battlefront. What are the other big MMOs? Obviously, Warcraft's still very popular. And Elder Scrolls Online. You can play them for free, but you really need a subscription to get the full experience out of them. There's another subscription. And I'm just worried we get to this point where there's going to be so many subscriptions. I mean, and then all the MOBAs, and not the MOBAs, the Battle Royales moving to Battle Passes. So that's, although it's not a subscription, you're still paying X amount of money every season to buy the Battle Pass. And then you still want to do the odd micro every now and again to support developers that you like. I just feel like I'm subscribing to everything right now, and it's getting a bit out of hand.
Yeah, I know that EA has just brought out a new Premium Plus extra special something edition, which you can pay monthly for, which is a bit like the pass that they have already, but there's going to be more choices on there for their newly exclusive games. And like you said, with just so many of these companies that you're subscribed to, is it going to be is it going to end up where you have all this money that you're dishing out per month, that you have this like one game which isn't a part of these packages? You're going to have to start unsubscribing, and it's going to be awkward. Then you have to somehow fork out the money that you spent for these subs to get this one game that isn't, in any of these packages. It just seems it could get a bit awkward.
It'd be better for me if the price of the game still wasn't like £60. Because I bought the Crew 2 and I paid the gold edition, so I'll get their season pass included with that. That's almost 80 quid worth of games. That's a lot of money. And then, I guarantee there'll be some other transactions that they'll throw into the game that aren't included in the gold edition or anything like that. Forza used to be the same as well. You'd get because I'm a big Forza fan, so I'd always buy the limited edition of their games. And I'd get limited edition, real nice box and all that sort of stuff. Yes, buying games on disc, thing of the past. Get this real nice box, and I get
what's a DVD, mate?
Yeah, I'd get all these car packs, and then they'd bring out an expansion to the game, like the Snow Map or the Hot Wheels expansion, and you got to pay for that. And that's annoying. It's. I think we're going to get to a point where it's too far, and then the games industry will roll it back, and games that are doing it a bit better will flourish. But as long as people are paying it, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
So what I'm saying is, stop subscribing to things. Stop playing the games you want to play.
That's your big motto of today's episode is stop subscribing to things.
No, it's just
there you go, folks.
It's just how the industry is moving. It's I'm confused how the industry's going to move, but we can't keep subscribing to everything because I just ain't got the money. We're being demonetized on YouTube. I can't afford this sort of thing right now.
We need that money.
Just thought I'd slide that reference in there.
Slide it in, yeah. Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything that I had envisioned. Is there anything you want to?
No, everything's ticked off my list.
You know what?
Apart from
I'm actually really impressed with us, because we haven't burnt and shriveled up and died yet, and we've actually lasted this long on this episode. I'm genuinely impressed with us.
An hour and 10 minutes
for this. Really, it's been that long.
An hour and 10 minutes.
Incredible.
I'm also impressed. No one's interrupted us. Like I didn't tell my fiance that I was recording anything, so she could have walked in here at any moment and said something, and your dog could have come bounding in at some point as well.
I was actually afraid that you didn't hit the record button, and we've done all this work and it wouldn't have been recorded.
I did check that. I was really worried at one point I didn't. And it definitely says recording.
That would have been like TheSneakyBros-esque.
There's nothing to say that it won't fail at some point or anything like that.
No.
But
don't say that. We put in so much work for the 10 viewers we're going to get for this episode. So.
I think we do need to address the channel, actually. Because for the fans that have stayed so far, thank you for increasing our watch time drastically.
Fans, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we got a big kick up the backside this week. Our multi-channel network, Union for Gamers, sent us an email to say that they are finishing our partnership after what has been probably 10 years of being a YouTube partner through various networks. We were not always with Union for Gamers, we were TGN, and then we were a little bit in the main YouTube partner program as well. We'll no longer be a YouTube partner. I think we can still hit the guidance for the main YouTube partner program, but I think it's made us realize that the YouTube channel itself has been neglected. We know that. We suffered from YouTube burnout, which a lot of people talk about, especially because we were a Minecraft themed channel for so long. And it was during the Minecraft hype, and we love it, and Minecraft is still very popular. But you've got to move on, and it'd be my biggest advice to anyone starting YouTube. Don't typecast yourself as one thing. Get loads of things going, and I think we are going to put an honest push back into the channel, especially because it's not even about the money anymore. Like when we got big, we
were not going to get any.
When we got big, we were generally you generate, and you can't help it. It's a human thing. Money makes the world go round. You just keep an eye on how much the money's coming in, and especially we got screwed over by a previous network. And it was really disheartening. And League of Legends, that killed the channel. League of Legends. I was addicted to that game for 6 years. 6 years. Should I say it again? 6 years addicted to one game. I mean, League, loved it. Still love it. But it's not a game that's easy to make content out of unless you're streaming.
Sorry, are you just talking about League of Legends again? My internet went then, so all I came back to was League, and I was like, oh, here we.
No, I'm just saying that League was a big factor in why we didn't do a lot of YouTube content. We sort of addicted to it for 6 years.
I think we can come up with every excuse in the book because we left for every single excuse in the book. You know what I mean? Like, there was
it with so many YouTubers as well. Like, the reason why we started YouTube, Mr. Sneaky Mode. I remember watching his videos when he was popular. And he was coming away from Minecraft and he was doing barely any videos. And I was just thinking, like, why? You're in such a good position. Like, you're in videos with C-Nanners. I mean, who the hell's C-Nanners now? But you do. You get burnt out. And I think we're at a point where we're pretty hyped to start doing YouTube stuff again. You've been streaming a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
I mean,
hopefully we get some guests on this podcast.
yeah. If you want to ruin your career, then let us know. Yeah, I mean, like we are pretty hyped. We are slowly getting back in development of the Clay Soldiers server, which is still a thing. We are still paying.
I'm paying a horrendous amount of money every month for that server.
Yeah, so we are actually losing money right now. That is how dedicated we are to actually keep this alive somehow. So, we're still around. We're still going to be here. We're still going to be releasing Season 4 of the Clay Soldiers, which will focus on the server development and what happens after we release it. And
so obviously, let's just sort of recap. Season 1 of the Clay Soldiers was all about the Yellow Town, and there was a bit of like sprawl and stuff, but not much. There was the hints that there were other civilizations. Season 2 was, oh my god, the purples are here. That was the trailer for Season 2.
Season 2 was my favorite.
Yeah, Season 2 was great. Season 3, that was the Age of War, we called it. So the seasons were battling. The civilizations were battling with battling with each other. And then Season 4, which is, we sort of push a little bit to Season 4, but this is going to be about creating the server and how that's setting up and how the civilizations are going to work. And then that paves the way for Season 5, where we'll do the plan to do, because it's a MOBA-esque style server. We'll do global events. We'll do global events, so we might do a war between two civs, and the people on the server will have a direct impact on how it will move forwards. That's the plan. Ziklag might not be aware of the plan, but that's the plan.
There's a plan, chat. There you go.
Chat?
So,
we've got a chat.
This
isn't even live. Why did you say chat? We're not even live.
I'm so used to streaming now that I'm like, chat, let me know.
Yeah, we got to go old school and say in the comments down below. If you prefer the live stream, oh my god, we're just all going to pot now. It went so well for an hour. If you
really want us to be live next time, are you serious?
To be live, let us know, because we could consider it. I'd have to get some images, because literally on my screen right now it says insert intro video here. We had all these big plans to use animation voice recognition software, and it's
absolute
so
shambles.
Buggy. It's so buggy.
I am embarrassed.
It's an interesting idea that I'd like to explore more, but
we're in a kind of funny position, really, aren't we? Because we're not really tied to any network. Well, soon to be not tied. And I kind of feel like this is how we started the YouTube channel, of just trying out new things. So, I'm kind of like,
we love. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to force myself to do anything nowadays. I'm just going to do what I, enjoy doing. Is the reason why we started the channel in the first place. Yeah. So, I feel released. To
be honest, I felt the same. I was really quite. No, I wasn't annoyed. I was confused why they're releasing us. They've still not told us the official reason. You can guess reasons why our views have plummeted on the channel, but no.
So I was like, we need to get rid of these guys fast.
But we do appreciate everyone who stuck with us for what's almost been 10 years on YouTube.
It's been that long.
So yeah, I think we're going to wrap up the podcast. It's been almost an hour and 20 minutes. But if the community that's still with us and still active, everyone on Discord, we love you. You're in the Discord every day. The Discord server is great. Well, I don't think we ever imagined the Discord server to be as good as it was. And it's kind of blown up into this good little community we've got. So shout out to everyone on the Discord who's still grinding the ranks to get up the Clay Soldier ranks.
Yeah, there's even a level 50. I did not believe anyone was ever going to get that Black Brawler rank, but there he is. He's even online right now.
We've even got there's a text-based there's a text-based MOBA on the game as well, on the Discord server, which
on the MOBA.
Whoa! Yeah, it's a text-based MOBA is what it is. It's good. It's a text-based adventure game.
Can we wrap this up? Are we good? Did we do a good job?
I think we did. Let us know in the comments below what you'd like us to talk about in the podcast in future. what sort of length is good for you, because I'm going to try and upload this podcast not just to YouTube. I'm going to see what it takes to upload it to all your favourite podcast things. So we'll get it on SoundCloud if they allow. I can't remember what the rules are around that. Get it on Spotify as well, and
that'll be good.
iTunes. So you can take this podcast wherever you go and listen
on
to
the
it.
train, on the toilet.
Yeah, and this is a podcast that isn't sponsored by Squarespace. So, like every other podcast
Blue Apron.
Blue Apron, yeah.
Dollar Shave Club.
Go to audible.com/TheSneakyBros for no benefits whatsoever. I feel like we just ruined every potential sponsorship deal we can get for this podcast in that one little segment.
We were already down out for the count, and you just nailed it. We are buried. Yeah, so we can't really go up from here. So you know how episode 3 is going to go in 2 years' time. So, so let us know who you would like to be on the podcast. If you can think of anyone, and we'll try and reach out to them. And then
if you want someone better to come and do this podcast, let us know, and we'll just leave them to it.
Well, yeah, I think I think that's good. I think that's a good second episode. 2 years' time. I know we keep saying it, but episode 3 will be here eventually when we can be asked to bring one out. But I've been Zitlag from the Sneaky Bros. This has been,
and I've been Sneaky Veil, which I haven't even touched on. That I had to. I think we need to quickly. I know we really want to end this, but I've got to touch on this actually. I've had to change.
Who is Up the Veil?
I've had to change the name from Up the Veil because if we want to start taking this YouTube thing seriously again, Up the Veil has big connotations to be sued in the future, essentially. Mainly because the local football team where I am, called Port Vale, and their big strap line is Up the Vale. So there must be loads of Vale fans that get really confused when they search that online and come across Minecraft videos.
You know what? You probably balls us up, actually. This was the comeback we needed. We needed this publicity of you getting sued by fucking Port Vale. Sorry, you can just bleep that out. But but that was our comeback, and you've ruined it.
Yeah, I can't.
Sneaky Veil, everyone.
But yeah, Sneaky Veil's the new name just because it's not as invented as Ziklag, which is a name from the Bible, if you didn't know.
Yeah, it's crazy, that. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah.
So,
right,
that's been it.
Do we play the intro music again? Or what?
I was going to ask if we have an end jingle, but we're probably
going to play the intro one again, I think.
You know what? We probably didn't realize we were going to make this far, so you probably don't have an end jingle, do you?
I should play the full one, like the full song, because that's I feel the fun song. It's quite funky, a fun song. I'm going to try and input it to
oh my god!
This is going to go
record. This is. You're gonna corrupt the file at this point, and I'm gonna
probably
do the whole thing again.
Corrupt. Yeah,
1 hour and a half.
Right.
Just play the jingle. Just play it.
Where
please.
Is it? It's here somewhere. It's in something called podcast.
Just click the button and just end it. Comment down below if you want this to be live. That would be awful, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Right, here we go. Okay. It's not working.
Is it playing?
It's probably playing for the viewers, and it's not playing. It probably briefly played for everyone then, but it's not monitoring it for me, so that's awkward. We'll just play the shortened version of the outro, and we'll be more prepared.
It's probably a good thing that we don't have any advertisements on here, because we probably would have ruined their brand as well. So, yeah, had a good time.
Yep. We'll see you next time on Cool Story Bro.
That's the name we're going for. Cool Story Bro. See you next time. You're playing the jingle yet?
Yep.
I'll mute myself. Hang on.